This is the Horsepower Hour.
Yes, hello and welcome to another Horsepower Hour. This is Andy. Joining me as always is the beautiful
me
and the delicious Coy Forticus and Masterson Junior Senior Esquire, Duke of Earl Grey. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good.
By the way, did I tell you I actually got a compliment about your intro? I had somebody reach out to me who is a friend on Facebook, but they've never listened to the podcast, and they listened to it and they were like, your thing that you go through with Coy in the beginning, it is just genius. And I was like, yes, basking in the compliments. I loved it.
You need to stop in the next 20 minutes. Okay.
The applaud can't last any longer.
You cannot flatter for more than 15 minutes of flattery.
Hey, speaking of flattery, we've got Aaron Samuelson from the Off-Road Podcast here. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. I'm a little tired and sore.
Tired and sore, dude. How come?
Coy has been working me like a madman.
I kind of have.
Beating you like a Chinese dog. What's going on?
We want to talk about that now?
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Oh, hold on. Whoa.
Yeah.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Let's back that
Aaron,
thing up.
You're the host of the Off-Road Podcast. Where can people find you if they want to get in contact?
Anywhere in social media besides Twitter. We are the Off-Road Podcast without the word "the" in front of it. So we're just Off-Road Podcast. You can find us
Podcast.
At Off-Road Podcast on YouTube. We are big enough to have our own YouTube URL now. Finally, we've achieved that goal. We're a big deal.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, that is a big deal, actually.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that a 1,000 people following?
No, it must be a lot less than that because I think we're still under that 1,000 mark. So if we're not, we just crested the 1,000 mark. Yeah. No, unfortunately, I'm a little too honest sometimes.
Maybe 2,000. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to brag for just a second. We've now got 32 followers on our YouTube. That's right.
A 3 and a 2?
A 3 and a 2. Yeah. In that order.
Digits. My son just had a birthday today, and he's now in his double digits also.
Oh, man. Congratulations to him. So he's 21?
No, he's 10.
Oh, gotcha. My bad. I misunderstood.
Double digits. That's two numbers side by side.
I can count. I've got fingers. I can count what 2 is. And Aaron, you've been working on a project, dude. It's actually a project that Coy was telling me about that I didn't even know was a thing until Coy told me that you were doing it. I honestly had no idea.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I've got a second generation Nissan Frontier, and I'm installing a Nissan Titan.
And do you know Tim Kilmer?
Yeah, he follows our podcast.
Tim says 33 subs now. Sub today to see Aaron. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Tim. He must have enjoyed
the best host of the Off-Road Podcast. So he's a big fan.
Wow. Well, thank you very much.
Tim, I don't know if you noticed, but I did help host a few episodes. So I appreciate you throwing some praise on my boy Aaron here, but I need a little love as well. Like I was in there too for a minute.
Yeah, no, I'm sure Tim knows all about Coy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tim is a pretty faithful follower of the show. I think I just sent him a sticker not too long ago as well, so he's probably excited about the love note that came with the sticker I always try to include.
I haven't gotten any love note. Jeez.
Did you give us a review of our show?
Okay, you know what, Aaron? Beggars can't be choosers, okay? Sorry. Come on.
Well, make sure that your intern, Jake, deletes that part out of the final portion.
Tim says Sunday nights are open. So not anymore, though. You have the Horsepower
Not
Hour.
Anymore. That's right. Yeah, Horsepower Hours every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Pretty exciting.
I totally interrupted you. I apologize. So you have a second generation Frontier.
Yep. And I'm putting a first generation Nissan Titan V8 into it. So they call it the VK swap. The VK is the engine code. It's a 5.6 liter V8, and it all but bolts in using the factory motor mounts. You use the Titan transmission. You use your transfer case. Someone has to have their fingers in your wire harness for you to modify it quite a bit from what it sounds like.
Mm.
And that's about it. There's like a couple coolant hoses you want from a different vehicle that'll help it all bolt together, but it essentially is bolt together.
The
Drop in.
only
Mm.
completely non-factory part is the wire harness. You got to send that to a guy, and he kind of does some splicing between a couple.
Yeah.
I'm correct in that, right?
Yep. And actually, there's no exhaust that is compatible either. So I'm using Nissan Titan headers with Nissan Titan um, catless B pipes or
Mhm.
test pipes, whatever you call them. And then I'm going to use a Nissan Titan cat back, but I'm going to have to shorten it in a couple places to get it to fit.
You
So
know,
mostly
And
factory.
so the VQ motors, that's a 5.4 liter, right?
VK.
VK, excuse me,
5.6.
5.6. And
Yeah.
what kind of horsepower is that making?
Boy, I'd have to look that up to tell you. I was actually asked that question earlier today and neglected to respond to that text. I think it's 315 horsepower, which isn't a ton more, or 325. It's not a ton more, but it's the torque department that gets you.
Mhm.
You get quite a bit more torque with this engine. So and my truck needed some it needed some maintenance, and I just figured rather than spend that $1,200 on maintenance, I'll spend that towards an engine swap.
You
That's
know, and
better in
I
every way.
know it's hard to think about this mid swap, but they did make a supercharger for Titans
Mhm.
that I can only
Mhm.
assume is an easy bolt on. And if I remember correctly, they're pushing 400 horsepower with the supercharger.
So I worked with an engineer that had a supercharged Titan, and he was making 600 horse. He had injector upgrades, obviously. He had a methanol injection system, and then he also had his ECU tuned, like it was dyno tuned
Mhm.
to make that power. But that thing fucking ripped, and he had a lift on it, and he had pretty big tires, and it was hilarious every time he broke it because he loved to do four-wheel drive launches in front of the because the
Yes.
engineering company I was working for, they were in an industrial area. And so some nights when we were leaving at the same time, I was working on some project of his and he wanted to show off his hot rod, he would pull out front and and I could tell what was going on because he'd give it a couple of quick revs and you'd hear that supercharger, and he'd hit the gas and just watching those front tires wiggle as they scrambled for traction. It was amazing.
I love superchargers.
Yeah,
Uh,
so I just looked it up here real quick. So I'm going from 261 horse to 317. So that's 56 horsepower. And
sure,
then
sure.
the torque is about 100 foot-pounds more torque.
That's pretty significant. And then can I ask, this might be a touchy subject, but I mean, you just said you had $1,200 worth of maintenance coming up. What's this swap gonna be coming in at?
Well, my swap is definitely over budget because the truck I bought, I got burned on it from the auction yard.
Oh,
Yeah, I got burned really hard with that truck. So, but you can do this engine transmission swap for 4 to 5 grand with used parts, etc.
that doesn't seem too bad, actually. I mean, all things considered, that's because you're jumping up whatever it was, about 50 horsepower, a little less, but then
Hmm.
100 pounds of torque. I mean, people pay a lot more for less with certain given vehicles. So, I mean, this seems like a pretty straightforward thing to do. And then your V8. So, if you want to go upgrades from there, there has to be an upgrade path with the VK engines, I would assume.
So I actually just looked it up. The Stellan supercharger kit,
Hmm.
just bolt on, and it has I don't think it's an intercooler, air to water intercooler.
Hmm.
Bumps you up to 390 in the horsepower department and 415 in the torque department.
Woo! That'll tackle the Moab.
I don't believe Stellan makes that supercharger kit anymore, so you have to get it
Probably
used.
not.
And
Yeah.
Eaton Harp makes that a compatible, similar,
Hmm. Hmm.
supercharger kit. It is quite expensive though,
What
like
what are we
like
looking at?
like 7 grand.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So
Well,
that adds 73 horsepower, but it only adds 20 torque.
Hmm.
30 torque. It adds 30 torque. So that's not that much.
Well, let's look at it this way, boys. Instead of going,
according to the Stillen website, it adds 113 horsepower and 80 foot-pounds of torque. I'm assuming Stillen's numbers are at the wheel.
At the
as well as our
wheels.
crank,
Okay. Yes.
which
I'll take that.
sounds
Yeah,
better
sure.
when you
absolutely.
run those numbers through.
Well, I'm just going to
Yeah.
throw this out there. It's a V8. And so now, I mean, instead of going with a purpose-built supercharger kit that just bolts right on and everything works, instead of doing that, what if we head over to eBay and we pay $112 a piece for 2 GT30s, maybe GT28s, GT30s, okay? Boy's doing a little head math here.
Yep.
We bust out the bandsaw and the welder, and we spend absolutely $0 on making our own turbo manifolds.
Okay, continue. I just want you to know it's the intake manifold is plastic, so you can't modify it. I shouldn't say can't. It's unlikely that you'll modify the factory manifold on a VK to work. It's a Corvette style plastic LS looking.
All
Looks
right,
cool.
so you run out and you spend $50 on some tubing. You spend $5 on a used propane tank, and then you put the tubes on the propane tank for your intake runners, and those go down into the engine. Easy, done and done.
Piece of cake.
It might be a little bit of work putting the throttle body on, but I mean, obviously you can just whack that bitch off. You can put it on there. JB Weld exists for a reason. Am I right or am I right?
You're right. Yes. You're not. I shouldn't say right. You're not wrong.
Now, here's the piece de resistance.
Do explain.
Have you guys ever heard of Mega Squirt?
Yeah.
They make a kit called a Micro Squirt.
Look, I am rarely on Pornhub, but I have not Googled either of those.
I don't believe that one bit. I don't believe that one bit.
Well, I didn't pay for it.
Okay. All
well,
right.
I'm just
listen.
Why not?
Why not remote mount them right all the way at the back?
Oh yeah, you could. Hey, you could do that. What's a little lag?
I mean, it's a V8. What's a little lag?
Exactly. It's already got it. Listen, it's a V8. It's not going to have lag, even if it's all the way at the back. Ooh, I got one for you, Aaron. Check this out. In the bed of the truck.
Yeah, I'd have to put some holes in my canopy.
So I'm gonna point out another upgrade path, and also point out something I noticed online the other day. You ever notice when people are kind of feeling out if it's cool to smoke weed around somebody they don't know? Like, hey, you 420 friendly, like you cool. They have there's kind of a little lingo where they lean. You know what I'm talking about.
Do you smoke or do you blaze?
Yeah, it's like local tobacco. Like they're trying to feel out if they're going to feed you or whatever. There's a certain thing where you do that with engines that you're not aware of. With nitrous, you're like, how much? She's like, anybody run nitrous?
Yeah, anybody throw a little juice?
Like how you think it'll hold a 50 shot? It's the same kind of dance.
I'm a budding dentist. I've got this expired tank of unknown substance.
So we could do all that. It's a V8 though. I feel like it could handle. I mean, I know it takes supercharge. You can supercharge it and get a bunch of power.
I'm sorry.
Why can't we put 100 out of nitrous on it?
We live in Oregon, so nobody's like, "Hey man, are you from like, are you down to do a little token smoke or what?" No. Every time I meet somebody new, they're like, "I require shrubbery."
Well, now, but it wasn't always that way.
Okay.
I was looking up some nitrous stuff the other day and realized, like, I recognized the way they're asking about if engines could handle nitrous, and I was like, it's like they're asking if it's okay to do drugs around you.
Well, I do feel like nitrous is a redheaded stepchild. I did it one time. My engine did inhale.
Are we talking about pot?
No, nitrous.
Oh, nitrous. Okay.
Yeah, we're back to nitrous.
Moving out, coming in.
I mean, it wasn't the appropriate car to put it on, and so maybe that was part of the deal. But it just didn't feel it. Didn't feel it.
Okay, but did it die?
Nope.
Okay, well then you're all good. I mean, what's the problem?
If you can bolt on a supercharger and get 100 horsepower at the wheel and 80 some foot-pounds of torque, that there's no reason we can't throw 100 shot of nitrous on that. We purge it. Remember that extra bung in your header? That's where we purge it. We purge it back into the exhaust. So when you purge, you shoot gnarly badass flames.
Yeah, yeah. And possibly explode your non-catted downpipes.
We'll see. I mean, we'll work. Maybe we'll purge it farther down the system. I don't know, but we're going to purge it into hot exhaust gas at some point.
Gotcha.
And Ben Allred is in the comments saying, is it the Ford Escort or the Subaru?
I hope it was the Escort.
It was the Escort, yes.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah.
All right, boys, speaking of escorts, I think it's time to escort our way on over to the news. You ready to do this? Didn't like that segue, Aaron?
I was hoping for something else. Honestly, I really was.
Yeah, well, you're here, and guess what?
You done messed up, Aaron!
It's fairly typical.
Hey, listen, the new 400Z. We've heard a lot about the Nissan 400Z, right? But we finally have a debut date, right?
But have we heard a lot about it? I think they've just been driving this car around and people are still guessing. I mean, they still don't even know exactly what engine's going to power it.
I think they made one yellow car and they're just touring.
I think you're right. We have heard a lot, and mostly what we've heard is, dude, bro, what?
I think so. I think so.
Mm-hmm. Sub 40,000, dude. It starts at $32,000, probably.
Probably. Yep.
Also,
and it'll have
video game said that
it'll have a
much higher than they should be.
The video game said what?
The video game said the specs should be much higher than Nissan did. So that means it's true, right?
Yeah, it came out in the video game with like 400 horsepower. I hope that's true in real life, but I don't know.
Probably not.
I want to know if when the specs actually get released, do they release a patch for whatever video game and bring it down to realistic?
Well, that would be nice, but probably not.
A patch.
Is 400 unrealistic though, you think?
No, not at all, because again, it's the VR based motor. It is a 3-liter twin turbo, but it's already in the Q60. What does it make? 320, 330. So
Something
I mean,
like that.
400 for a motor like this, I feel like is a stone's throw away.
And it's for sure supposedly going to be available in a manual, which is rare these days.
Well, we're going to find out exactly what it has on August 17th. That is their release date for all of the information about this new 400Z. And we're going to get to see, how the sausage gets stuffed over here. The return of the Z is kind of what they're doing. They've got this new advertisement campaign they're doing where it's not even talking about the 400Z. It's just the Z logo and it, the king returns or something like that. So,
wait, do they not sell 350 or 370Zs right now?
They do, yeah.
So it's not really returning.
No.
Well, maybe it's like a return to the roots of the Z or something.
Like it's just not lame. This one is what they're trying to say.
I don't think the 370Z is lame. I think that the 370Z is a pretty cool rig. They're definitely not as cheap as the 350, but they do sound ever so slightly better. Do they not?
I won't say that it's a lame
vehicle.
They're nice, but considering when did 370 come into production?
Ooh,
you know what I mean? Like Nissan especially does this. They're like, hey, we made a new model and we're going to ride it out to the bitter end and wait till everybody else has released something new. I mean, they go like 10-year runs on their pickups.
2009 is when the 370Z came out.
So that model has been running for 11 years.
Here's their new little teaser. Okay. This is from Twitter. It says it all begins with Z 08/17/21. And they've got a little video here where they're like cutting the Z with a samurai sword, and it says August 17th, 2021. That is some super lazy graphic design. I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a graphic designer, but wow, that's lazy.
It reminds me of the intro to the black and white Zorro, where he does like a Z in the dirt.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It was Zorro as well. I think I had something like that on my car domain page.
It reminds me of MySpace when you could customize your page with like your favorite song and a music video and stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's
to tie it back a little bit here. People are VK swapping their 350s and 370Zs.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that a bit.
I wouldn't either.
By the way, your mic stand is not a guitar. You shouldn't strum it.
Did I? No, I think my finger just popped.
Okay. Moving on to something that you guys are going to be super excited about. Much more excited than the 400Z. Are you guys ready for this? Holy smokes. Coy is like turning red in the face. The veins are popping out. He's at 3/4 mast right now. The all-new Ford Maverick will be the most affordable hybrid you can buy.
It makes me feel like playing volleyball with my shirt off, covered in baby oil. Too close for missiles. I'm switching to guns.
Yes.
Make sure to rub yourself down with baby oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the new Ford Maverick, it is coming in right at the 20,000 mark. The article that we're reading here comes from Auto Week. It's a little bit I don't know. It's kind of, I feel like there's some contradictory statements being made here. One, at one point it says it's going to start at less than 20,000, and then
Yeah.
at the top it says it's starting at 21,490. But you know
Yeah.
what? Either way, that is going to be the cheapest hybrid on the market, which is insane to me.
I feel like they're,
and the fact that it's a truck,
Mhm.
a truck.
yeah, air quotes.
As much a
Yeah.
truck as a Ridgeline as a truck, and not just a CRV with the trunk cut off.
So let's all take a vote here. Does this look better than a Ridgeline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all agreed on that. This looks a lot better than a Ridgeline. I actually don't mind the original first gen Ridgeline,
Mhm.
like mini Avalanche, but the new Ridgelines,
Ugh. The Ridgeline does have one thing going for it that the Maverick does not, and that's that it's rear-wheel drive in the base model, and this is a front-wheel drive in the base model.
Is it really? I didn't realize that.
I don't think most enthusiasts will care.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Or I shouldn't say enthusiasts, non-enthusiasts.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, most people who buy this are clearly not into vehicles.
Right.
This doesn't say I love automotive technology.
No, what this says is I have a 1/4-acre lot in Portland that I paid $1.2 million for, and I want to have chickens, and I need something to carry a single bale of hay in.
I'm going to start
Yes.
beekeeping in town.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to take
I-
my homemade soaps to the Saturday market, and I don't want to stink up my Subaru Outback, so I need something with an open bed.
This says I have a paddleboard.
This says my dildos are larger than you would expect them to be.
What?
I feel like this does have a pretty good place though. You just mentioned Subaru Outback, and I was thinking today about this truck, and this is essentially a Subaru Baja, but just very square. The Baja was
I-
the 4-door Subaru Outback
Mhm.
with a really short bed.
So before the show, me and Andy were saying this kind of takes a little bit. This goes for the Ridgeline market a little bit while trying to kind of jump into Subaru's market a little bit. It
Yeah.
is kind of occupying a little bit of a niche market that's somewhere in between tiny pickup and all-wheel drive
Mhm.
Subaru. And I mean, Ford hasn't made the Explorer Sport Track for a while, and those did sell fairly
Yeah.
well.
Sure. And
I
this
think
is
they did,
based,
yeah.
this is supposed to be based on the Bronco Sport / Land Rover Discovery, like I said, chassis. And I have to be honest, there are some pretty impressive specs to this thing. I want to go over the specs just a little bit. So this base model,
Please.
the first original model, base model, the hybrid, what add all of your stuff to it. There are certain things that impress me. The tow capacity of 2,000 pounds does not impress me. The carry capacity of 1,500 pounds. No,
You can
Aaron.
you can option it up to 4,000 pounds towing capacity.
Yes, but that's with the EcoBoost motor. I'm talking about this $20,000
Okay.
hybrid base model.
Gotcha. All right.
Tows up to 2,000 pounds. So do a little mental math while I'm going through these specs. What are you going to tow that's 2,000 pounds? Okay. It's got 191 horsepower, 155 foot-pounds of torque. It's got a hybrid system. It's not a plug-in hybrid, but it does boast a 40 mile to the gallon in-town EPA rating, which I mean, aerodynamics notwithstanding, I feel like we can pretty safely assume that it's going to be in the low to mid 30s on the freeway. Like Aaron said, it does have an up rate if you end up getting the 2.3 liter EcoBoost. the FX4 package. It gets a little taller, gets some off-road tires, and it has the capacity to tow 4,000 pounds with its 250 horsepower and 277 foot-pounds of torque. But again, I want to go back to that base model front-wheel drive. No all-wheel drive option available for this first base model. Ford says there's no technical reason why they wouldn't be able to add all-wheel drive later, as Kevin Moore is asking in the comments. But right now, it's not being offered with the all-wheel drive. I think that it would be super easy and simple for them to add it. As a matter of fact, the other models are going to come with all-wheel drive. They're just trying to get their foot in the door and see what exactly is going to happen here. Like Coy said,
they don't want to cut into their Bronco Sport sales either with this, I think.
And they want to go ahead and jump into that. This is going to occupy a really weird space. It's like if Subaru and a Prius had a baby and the baby was not
deformed.
Yeah, it wasn't quite smart enough to live up to the aspirations of its parents. You know, like the mom's a teacher and the dad is, kind of middle management for a company. So they definitely were aiming towards mediocrity. And then their child came out and their child just never quite couldn't finish junior college. There is no degree available for them. And the dad's trying to get them a job, entry level position at the job he works at. And they can tell that the kid's just never going to quite go beyond that.
Won't stop trying to talk about his organic potato sculpture artist startup, Yeah.
Yeah. And he's really, really sure his Twitch channel is going to take off at any moment, but he only streams every other week because he's got too much anxiety to do it. And he doesn't know what to talk about. That's the market that this is landing in. This is what Coy and I are really, really good at doing, these really in-depth market analyses.
Deep.
Yeah. Real deep
researched market analysis.
So boys, thoughts. Aaron, let's start with you.
I am happy it's coming to market. Another one that you haven't talked about is the Hyundai Tucson, I think, or Tucson Sport or something like that. This and that are going to go to head quite a bit. They're both about the same size. The Tucson gets worse fuel economy, but it's got more horsepower and a little more towing capacity.
It's going to get the highest ratings. This show that them going head to head will get the highest ratings that night of the Special Olympics for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I still think that there's a place for people who don't need serious trucks and don't need serious off-road prowess in trucks when they do buy them, and this will suit somebody fine to have 5 just out of high school kids going up a gravel road to go camping for their first time in the woods, and they run over some guy with a hook for a hand. It'll be great for that.
I couldn't agree more. It does come with a 4.5 by 4 foot bed. Some of the interesting things that I thought were cool that Ford kind of put some thought into is they've got little cubbies that can fit 2x4s or 2x6s. And supposedly they're going to be including, detailed DIY instructions for building your own bike rack, kayak rack, your own bed extenders, that sort of thing. And I thought that was
2x4s?
2x4s or 2x6s. They've got cubbies in the sides of the bed that are meant for those to slide into.
They realize the price of lumber now is more expensive than buying an actual steel bike rack.
Okay, but they've been producing this truck or in production with this truck for the last couple of years. So, I mean, I don't think
most new trucks have those indentations in the bed area for you to do that.
Yes, thank you, Aaron. No thanks to you, Coy.
So, no thanks to me, but I'm not really excited about this in particular. What does make me excited is a return to mini trucks. That excites me, which this is lame-ish. I mean, it's okay for the kind of people that are looking for this, I guess. But for a car enthusiast, vehicle enthusiast, off-road enthusiast, this is bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
But it does open the door for other companies to release mini trucks that may be better taste,
Dude, 40 miles to the gallon hybrid. I mean, this is just, think about the big cities, Seattle, Portland, Austin, people wanting to do urban farming, and they need something that's got a small bed because they don't want to put bags of manure in the back of their Subaru.
No, this will sell. I have no doubt.
Yeah. I honestly think that this is going to do okay. And then let's talk for just a second about the 2.3 liter EcoBoost. So they have them in the Mustang. The Mustang, they make a little bit more horsepower, somewhere north of 300. So these are going to be detuned a little bit, but that doesn't change the fact that these 2.3 liter EcoBoost, we've already seen that they can make 400 horsepower and even more torque with bolt-ons and a tune. Could we perhaps see the return of like a mini Raptor?
Or back in the day, they had the was it like the Thunder or something like that? They have a Thunder edition of the Ranger. Maybe I'm making that up.
No, you're right. It had some weird 90s like
Yeah.
like surfer graphic. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
they had a Splash, but I don't think that was a performance. I think that was more like a
Oh,
step side and a color option. It was yellows and stuff like
Splash
that.
is what happened inside of the cab.
To
Yeah.
believe it or not, in second grade, I hit a yellow Ford Splash model that I put together.
Wow.
It was
Good
a
job.
sweet
Good job.
model.
Kevin
I'm-
Moore, by the way, is in the comments. He
Like
says
painted it
perfect
yellow.
upgrade for those that want to overland their Civic. Couldn't agree more.
And the price point starting at 20
Mhm.
or 21 or
amazing.
whatever. That's ridiculous. So
And according to the Ford engineers, sorry to interrupt, Aaron, one more thing. According to the Ford engineers, the FX4 package with the EcoBoost motor, they have already taken it off-roading. They, to in their own words, they have bashed it through the snow and sand, and they've run it across saltwater beaches, and they have found it to be a very capable off-roader. I mean, we'll still have to kind of see how that works out. But again, it is based on the Bronco Sport chassis. And I've seen lots and lots of those Bronco Sports, even just so far, get super stuck.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You know, the really good thing, the high point about this is going to earn Ford some carbon credits, getting, 40 miles a gallon.
Mhm.
The Raptor Bronco isn't out yet, but this gives them some wiggle room to really pump it up, right?
That is a fact.
There's one more thing I want to write this number down, and I did. The ground clearance on it is either 8.3 inches or 8.6 inches if you have the FX4 package. So I want to tuck that in your pocket for later in the podcast when we talk about something else.
Okay. All right. And here's a quick size example Coy sent to us. It truly is a small truck. I mean, it's definitely not going to be a Toyota Tacoma from the 90s, but that is a very small truck.
Very,
Coy showed
very
me
small modern truck.
Yeah.
Coy showed me this graphic earlier today, and I didn't notice this part in the upper corner where it says, "How tight can the Maverick turn?" And it's 40 feet curb to curb. The LMTV that I had turned very, very tight. It turned what they called 35 feet wall to wall. So same thing as curb to curb. So if you were parked next to a curb, it would turn 35 feet.
I get
So-
this argument from a lot of
Yeah.
people. I also want to point out that Cabo, this is like the RX-7 guys with like, hey, most horsepower per liter, it's a 1.3 liter. And I'm like, well, you're only counting one rotor face. That's not how it works. The cab over guys do the same thing. Like, my tow truck can turn around in one lane. It's like, yeah, I know, it's a cab over.
Actually,
But the
guys,
cab over was 21 and a half feet long, though.
I know, but it's a cab over. That's like saying a forklift can turn around in a tight place, you know?
So cab overs apparently allow them to have a tighter turning radius because of the cab placement.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah, in a lot of ways.
I actually got showed up one time. It was by Ryan Pillsbury. He was driving his black RX-7.
Yeah.
And I was driving my Festiva, and he was making fun of it, of course. And I was like, well, here's something you can't do. And I turned around, excuse me, in 1.5 lanes. I mean, that thing just has a ridiculous turning circle. And I looked back at him, and he said, oh, yeah. And then proceeds to turn his tires full drifter lock because he had an angle kit on it that I had conveniently forgotten about. So he had like 55 or 60 degrees of turning angle and turned even tighter than the Festiva. I was like, okay, all right.
You know, even if he hadn't had that, he was pretty good at drifting, so he'd have probably spun it basically in place.
Well, yeah, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. I'm wondering if our next article is a car that's going to be able to be drifted, you guys. Probably not, but you know what? Is anybody going to really care? The new production model, Tesla Model S Plaid. you guys, and Aaron is making some faces. Do you want to go ahead and give us your thoughts, buddy?
Boy, I want one of these. I think that I wouldn't need any other car in my life if I owned this, besides a pickup truck and a LMTV and a camp trailer. But beyond those, this would be the only car that I would ever need in my life.
You've got your Model 3 Plaid, you've got your Ford Maverick Mini Raptor, and your fifth wheel.
Model S Plaid.
Excuse me, Model S Plaid.
Yeah. Pretty sweet. Imagine only spending $130,000 and being able to hit the 200-mile-an-hour barrier, 0 to 60, probably the fastest 0 to 60 of any four-wheel vehicle that comes out of a factory.
Yeah, recorded at 1.99 seconds.
I will go on record. Tesla puts these numbers out, and every factory puts out their 0 to 60 in their quarter mile, and they're a lot of times hard to replicate, but not impossible. Most people trying to replicate Tesla's numbers on this stuff it's nigh impossible. Not saying they're not fast, but to actually get to what they claim is very rare.
Well, if
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna claim it, and then I'll like show some people, and they'll be like, "Stop watching me," and it'll be like 2.4, and I'll be like, "Well, it's still faster than anything."
You're gonna be one of those guys with read the brochure. I got the brochure in the glove box right here.
Open the glove box.
To be fair, if I'm at the drag strip and I run a 2.5 second 0 to 60 in my Tesla Model S Plaid, I've still shipped my pants. It doesn't matter. Like the fact that I didn't go 199. That doesn't change anything. They're also claiming quarter mile at 9.23 seconds at 155 miles an hour. Wow.
That's ridiculous. I know everybody loves these, and I don't necessarily care for them, and I kind of feel bad. Like, I like the performance of it, but it's like, it's like if BMW just took a 3 Series and was like, yeah, we made it have 9,000 horsepower. And I'm like, it's still a 3 Series. Like, make it. And they charged, not 3 Series prices. It's $123,000.
Yeah.
Probably more with some dealer stuff. Like,
it's going to be 150,000 for sure.
And they're going to be really hard to get. So they're just going to charge what they want. And it's really not that much different than the regular one. I mean, it's faster, but it's the same outside car.
I just hope some influencer gets one and is a fan of like the Dakar or something and modifies it and races it in the Dakar.
What I would like to see, or say somebody test an influencer, if you put it on auto drive, autopilot, whatever they call it nowadays, at 190 miles an hour, will it start weaving in and out of traffic by itself? Like a duck and weave and brake and accelerate? Like, can I set it for ludicrous speed and go Plaid and then take a nap and let it do its thing?
Better yet,
you'll definitely be taking a nap.
Will it start playing Dave Matthews Crash Into Me for me?
I'm just going to go Sammy Hagar. Can't drive 55, but
I can't drive 255. So we got a question in the comments from Kevin Moore. He said, how fast is the Dodge Demon? And it's actually running at Dodge Demon, stock power and stock weight, but with the Demon package, drag radials and skinnies up front. It's running a 957 or 958 as tested by, people.
Slower.
And does it have 60-foot times?
I'm not seeing them here. Let me run through these just a little bit more. Here, as a matter of fact, I'll let you guys that are watching along come and check this out.
I just don't understand how this Tesla's doing this on street tires. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the all-wheel drive, baby.
All-wheel drive.
It does. It's not how that works. Like, you can still do all-wheel drive burnouts, like at that kind of torque levels. Like, I mean, I don't want to be a hater, but I feel like there was a lot of track bite sprayed down. And when I say a lot, I mean from one end of the track to the other end.
Kind of like that.
Not the first 60
can video.
I'm just saying they got a truck, like one of those oil trucks, that spray the gravel so it turns into asphalt, and they ran it up and down 5,000 gallons of track bite and then sent it.
It is an interesting idea, though, because you're talking about, new tech, electric cars, versus something that Dodge made that was specifically meant for the drag strip.
This is why I'm always doubtful of Tesla stuff when they make these claims. I mean, think about a 10-second all-wheel drive Subaru, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to have that crazy power, and then think in your mind the monster fat slicks all the way around and a parachute hanging out back. Like, I get it has technology and electric power, but we can only put so much technology into the tire.
Yeah,
like that's where the rubber meets the road, both literally and figuratively.
Well, I mean, I've seen lots of 9-second DSMs, lots of 9-second GTRs, and they're skating all over the drag strip.
They are not on 19s. They're on small rims, fatty Hoosiers.
So we can safely assume that this is either a computer simulated model time or someone at Tesla is actually running it on 16 or 17-inch slicks, right?
I don't know. I just and they don't really say. I just have a hard time really believing this number is able to be done again in a real world scenario with one you picked up from a dealer stock.
Right.
Well, you'll only get to do it once before they kick you off the track. So then you got to go to the next track over and the next track over.
Well, so actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking the same thing. If this doesn't have a roll cage, how do you get around that?
Well, do demons have a factory roll cage?
Nope.
No, and so that. I guess that's my point. I mean, like, how do we get around that? Because most track regulations say you have to have a certain safety rating of your suit, helmet. You have to have a certain safety rating of your cage. Like, how are manufacturers getting around that? I'm not really understanding it.
I mean, locally, what is it, 11, sub 11, you have to have a full cage.
Yeah.
For locally for us. Is that a nationwide thing? Is that
I always thought that was an NHRI thing.
Is it?
I think it's based on the track, but I think most tracks, if not all, adhere to that. I did hear recently that some tracks may be changing a tune because cars are getting faster. So if it is a completely stock production car, they're easing up on some of those restrictions, but I don't know how far they're easing up. I didn't read the article. Apparently
they're easing up until we start seeing the brand new Corvettes splitting in half and ejecting their passengers.
So Kevin Moore says Tesla does it via pulsing the power like a mini lift when it breaks traction. I get that it has an advanced traction control, but that mini lift still means you're not accelerating. So to get that number, all-wheel drive or not, regular tires only have so much traction to give, and to accelerate. Teslas aren't lightweight unless this one's different somehow. They're a heavy car. To accelerate 4,000 pounds in that amount of time with just regular, even 200 treadwear tires.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that they did that in a real world scenario and didn't cheat somehow by like putting track bite down the track, which essentially makes your tire not really a 200 treadwear tire.
Yeah.
Now the road's 200 treadwear.
Well, we're gonna have to reach out to your college buddy and see if he'll have someone give us a spin.
Yeah,
I would love to talk to him, but Elon is such a flighty little guy, especially now with his new wife.
Ooh, I've heard about that. She's grimy, son.
They do so many edibles together. I'm just like, man, dude, I can't even hardly talk to him on the phone anymore.
I actually think you need to blame Joe Rogan. He's the one that introduced him to it.
Oh, I saw that.
I mean, it's he went there.
I know.
Great guy though. Great. I wish him the best.
Yeah, they met in junior college. Listen, fellas, this is a lot of new tech stuff going on. The hybrid Ford Maverick. We're talking about super fast Tesla electric. I think we need to get back down to basics. Just a good old fashioned twin turbo V6 Overlander rig. You want to do that?
I do.
The basics.
Aaron, you ready to do this?
Let's do this.
Overland is fuck!
Coy, you sent this to me, man. Why don't you go ahead and take it from here?
The all-new Toyota Land Cruiser debuts with 209 horsepower and a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6.
That is sweet. When can I buy it here?
Never.
Damn it!
Well, likely someday.
409. 409. You said 209. 409.
Sorry. Yeah, that 209 is not that impressive. 409,
Nope.
much more impressive.
Yes. Almost
So,
double.
not a lot released on this. The new 300 series Land Cruiser. The picture, which I'm hoping is real, looks good. It is slightly smaller and slightly lighter. That much has been said.
I hate that front end.
Really?
I don't like it.
I don't like the skid plate thing going on there, but the actual just grill, I don't mind that at all.
I'm not digging that one bit. It feels a little like warthog-ish with like tusks coming out, slash stormtrooper.
I saw a little Yosemite Sam going on there. He got eyes and a big giant curly mustache.
I was gonna say a little bit of a mustachio that gets curled on the ends. Yeah.
The kind of mustache that starts like here, but then comes down and then comes back up then into the burns, you know. Just looking at this picture, which they don't really say, this could be a little rendery-ish, so I don't really know if that's what it's going to end up as. I don't see a ton of room for aftermarket bumpers on it. And knowing ARB, they're not going to change their design at all, ever. And it's not going to look good on there to me. So
we can find out tomorrow. We can ask him tomorrow.
Yeah, you should ask that. Ask them when they're going to do like a Gen 2 bumper where they change the design. I don't know, minutely in any way for some vehicle. For those who don't know, ARBs are great bumpers. Some of the best, but they're identical shape style on every vehicle. They just change it the width, basically. I mean, they're all the same. And it's been that, I don't know, how long have they had that design, Aaron? For 20 years? Maybe longer?
It feels like at least 20 years, yeah.
In America, at least 20 years. I feel like in Australia, it could be pushing 30 or 40. I don't know. A long time.
You know what, Coy? I'm actually siding with Aaron on this. I'm not a huge fan of the looks. I mean, I guess the front. I don't know.
That one I like.
I don't know. You guys got to go and take a look at the photos of this thing. Again, links to everything we're talking about are available either in the video description or underneath of the podcast in the podcast description. Go and take a look. Give us your thoughts. Throw them in the comments because I really am curious. This, I don't know. I don't like the look of this new. And this is the new 300 series Land Cruiser. We have been working off of the old 200 series Land Cruiser up until now, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And the idea is, even though we won't be getting the Toyota Land Cruiser in this trim package in the US, we probably can be looking forward to a Lexus RS series.
Yes, something extremely expensive that won't be off-roaded by
almost anyone. I think the interior looks good. I like the third row seating. This has enough seating for 7 people, so this will be a very competent family rig. Like that photo right there. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
I'm gonna jump in here.
It's bulbous.
It is. But Land Cruiser. I mean, anytime a Land Cruiser is released, they're not, as I've said before, they're not what you want. You always want the new Land Cruiser to be some kind of FJ40, FJ45. It never is.
These have very nice interiors, though.
They're more wagon than they are anything else, than they are SUV, honestly. I mean, these new ones are almost getting a little bit G-Wagon look. I mean, got this real boxy. And while they look super luxurious, they may not be what you want, but they will not be bad. They're going to have an incredible roof load rating. Their payload rating, just like crap you can pile inside, will be higher than probably any SUV as far as weight. The durability of the transfer case and stuff are ridiculous. The 200 series in America, for sure, they were just these big rich people showboat river cruisers.
Yeah.
The Arctic truck guys pull their transfer cases out of those and put them in the Arctic trucks because they're so incredibly robust. Like, while there are a lot of things, they're never bad. So
Devin Gibson is really jumping in with the strong comments. Nice Toyota Bronco. I could not agree more. Mario Toes says ugly. Oh, that's all he says is just ugly. But I think he's about right. He's about spot on. Devin also says front looks good from the fender back. Looks far too big. I'm 100% with him. It looks weird. The tires are too small for it, and maybe that's going to be a thing that gets changed. Is bigger tires are going to change the look. They always do. Kevin's asking the width. I'm not honestly sure. I'll take a look here. It is available with the 3.5 liter V6 with 409 horsepower, 479 foot-pounds of torque, or a turbo diesel twin turbo 3.3 liter V6 with 304 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque, all going through a 10-speed automatic. Sounding very Fordish to me, but we won't get into that, I guess. Aaron, what do you think?
Um, it it, it looks like a Toyota Sequoia to me. It really does. It just
Yes.
doesn't feel much of a departure from that. And then I hope I don't get any hate mail. If you do, send it to the guys over at the Horsepower Hour, not to me. It looks very Saudi Arabian. I don't know how to describe
They
why
probably
I'm
sell
feeling
more
that.
there than anywhere else, though.
I'm
Instead
sure
of
they do. It just, you know what? Maybe what I'm seeing is the Nissan Patrol.
Troll.
It just feels like the back quarter is very Nissan Patrol-ish, or maybe even the whole thing just with a Toyota grill.
The whole thing does have, especially white for some reason. Every Nissan Patrol I see is white. I'm not sure
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
Is that? I need to look that up and find out. Are all Nissan Patrols white? Is that a thing?
it's
I've
because of
seen some
racing.
black ones.
I've only
I've
seen
seen
white
black
ones,
ones.
so I don't know.
About 13% of them are black.
They get in the worst accidents, though, I guess. According
Are
to
the
statistics,
are the black ones also the extended versions? Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna get kicked off the internet anyways.
Yeah, don't go any further than that.
Uh, yeah, I'm not excited about it, but I am excited to see kind of what internals and stuff it
Yeah.
has, because you always find out later how incredibly beefy this super luxurious
Yeah.
SUV is that you'll never be able to afford. And you're like, well, it is a Land Cruiser, made it super tough, bro. That's sweet.
I need to make a correction real quick. What you're going to be excited about is 20 years from now when these are in junkyards, not very many of them, but a few, and you're like, oh, the motor's fine and the transmission's fine and the transfer case is fine. Where's my Frontier?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, hey, I just V6 twin
No,
turbo swapped the FJ.
your Ford Maverick. They put it in your Ford Maverick.
You had a ground clearance thing that I felt like we were going to go after this with, so
Yeah.
let's jump in.
I can't remember. Does this article have the ground clearance listed?
No, it doesn't.
Um, I I think it is 9.8 inches is the ground clearance. 9.8. And the Ford Maverick was 8.3 to 8.6. So less than an inch and a half more ground clearance than a unibody pickup truck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The way you say that though sounds horrible, but we're going all will like you if you look at Subaru ground clearance numbers and to traditional body
Yeah.
on frames, you will have that same thing too, but you can
Yeah.
lift these, whereas Subarus, well, you can lift those too if you're
Yeah, I was gonna
signaling
say I'm
what
pretty
lane
sure
you are.
I'm pretty sure the Outback Wilderness Edition has like 8 or 9 inches of ground
I
clearance
think
because
it's more than that. It's a
It's
lot.
I
yeah.
think it's over 9.
Aaron, also, this is why I brought you on the show, and here you are asking us, like, do you remember what the ground clearance is? No, that's why you're here.
I was giving you the option to throw it out there.
Now, I'm also going to say, from some of my contacts here on the internet,
Yeah.
it appears that Toyota will be releasing in the next 2 years not one but 2 new trucks.
Really?
That's the word on the street that I've picked up. They're going to be releasing some new trucks. I say it's about time. They've got a lot of heavy competition coming in. Clearly, this is not going to be a gladiator killer.
Right.
So Toyota does have to do something. I don't care about this really at all because I'll never be able to afford one. And if I did, I'd be far too scared to off-road it. And if I ever got the balls big enough to off-road it, my wife would cut them off.
Aaron,
So,
do you have any idea what the price is going to be on these? Sorry to interrupt, Coy.
They're going to be just under 100.
You think so?
Yeah,
uh,
and
so
what
my-
I'm excited about Coy says not being able to buy one and stuff. I mean, right now we're seeing people drive these Lexus GXs and GSs or whatever X whatever letters and numbers they have that are 20-year-old or 15-year-old Lexuses that are on the previous Land Cruiser chassis.
Mhm.
And I'm just curious. There is no information on the new Lexus that it is going to be based off of this chassis. I really do want to see what that's going to look like. Maybe it'll look better, and then it'll be the hot Overlander in 15 years. It'll be people picking it up for 18 grand
Yeah.
and trimming some fenders and putting bigger tires in it and a Iron Man lift kit in it and sending it in the forest to the hiking areas.
It's actually going to be really odd. The color combo that Coy was talking about earlier, despite being 13% of what's produced, is going to be 50% of the vehicles off-roaded.
True.
Most
Yeah.
likely.
Most of these are going to be demo vehicles. Like it's just going to say big name brand off-road company across the side, crazy vinyl, all the
Yeah.
part, and we're going to be like,
Mhm.
wow, it's cool that they made those.
Mhm.
I'm sure they're selling a ton of parts for those.
Do prices really come down on these? And I'm going back to the 200 series. So you've spent now $100,000 on one of these. Where do we anticipate the price being in 5 years or 10 years?
You go
I'm
first, Aaron.
I'm really bad with that kind of stuff. I'm gonna guess that in 5 years, if you paid 100 grand for it, I bet in 5 years it's still gonna have a $40,000 to $60,000 price tag.
Strangely, Land Cruisers hold their value very well, even the old ones. I
Yeah.
mean, look up an 80 series right now. I mean, those were, when did 80 series start? 89 to 96, something like that. And man, you can't find those hardly under 10 at this point. And
Gotcha.
we're talking 250,000 miles. Now, I mean, obviously price is going to drop. It's $100,000 vehicle. It can't be 40 grand forever.
Sure.
But Toyotas do hold their value
Is
to a fault.
well, is
Yes.
America going to see the diesel motor,
No,
or
absolutely
you don't think
not.
so?
Nope. I
We're
honestly
not
would
gonna see
be,
this truck.
we will see a gas version, and I bet we get a Lexus hybrid Land Cruiser.
Kevin Moore says too much show to gather the aftermarket for a reasonable lift and accessories price. I mean, somebody's going to do it because SEMA's still around.
No, it'll happen because these will be off-roaded
Mhm.
in Saudi Arabia or Australia or wherever. So the parts will already be designed, and all these companies are, manufacturing out of the same place in China. So I've heard, and
So
they'll
you've
just
heard.
ship over what they need. Yeah, same with
Yeah.
the tents, the rooftop tents. They all come from the same factory.
Yeah.
It's well known.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this thing. I mean, listen, I'm not like completely against it or anything like that. It's not something I'll ever be in the market for, because you're looking at the new Ford Broncos.
I'm just a little disappointed because they're like, hey, the next generation Land Cruiser is going to be smaller, more off-road capable, lighter. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be all this stuff. Technically, it is smaller and lighter, but only minutely, and it doesn't look cheap. Like, it wasn't what I wanted. It never is.
If I was making $250,000 a year and this was in the US and I wanted to take my family on this epic summer road trip to visit all the national parks one summer, this would be something I'd buy. And I know that that's not at all what it's intended for, but that's kind of the clientele, at least in the US, that I could see purchasing something like that. They bought this super robust vehicle and it'll get used for that kind of thing. But it's going to be one of the best off-road vehicles you can get. It'll be super smooth on the pavement.
It screams I couldn't afford a G-Wagon to me.
Coy, you and I had a fantastic role play here like 4 or 5 weeks back where we were talking about the typical buyer of the Land Cruiser, because it is the most capable offer, like you said. I mean, it's incredibly durable. I'm going to have to pull that up and repost it because it was really, really good stuff. I don't want to go back into it because we got to move on, you guys. Coy actually sent me another Olaf. It's one that got posted on the Horsepower Hour page earlier this week. So we got to talk about it. It is a marketplace vehicle, but Aaron, you need to see this thing, man. I didn't disclude it from your list purposefully, so I apologize. but I think you'll be able to pick up on it pretty quick here.
Oh, I
1925,
did see this one. Yes.
Cushman Traxter. Son, are you kidding me right now? Coy, what is going on here?
Remember the tracked IndyCar thing from when you were a kid? Like the first cool tracked RC cars?
Yes.
Fast Tracks.
Yes, Fast Track.
Yeah, I
Yes, Fast Tracks,
wanted
yep.
one, but
Mhm,
my
mhm.
dad obviously couldn't afford $40 to make my childhood dreams come true. And we've all been there. It reminds me a little bit of that in the track setup. I mean, it's got like this fast track look going on. The top is kind of golf cart slash what are those 6-wheeled amphibious things called?
Mhm.
Argo.
Yeah.
Kind of bit of
Argo.
Argo look. Golf cart kind of like seats, but man, I would love this.
This thing is so cool. So cool. It's got the tiller steer. It's got a wide bench seat. And I think it's got 2 bench seats in it, doesn't it? Or is it just
Yeah,
one?
it's got a front and
Just-
back bench seat, I believe.
No, it's just one.
Just
Oh.
one?
Just one.
I don't care. You could sit 3 or 4 people on the sides. Looks like you could
Up
strap
front?
a cooler right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang your
You
feet
put
down
your
by the tracks.
ARB fridge.
Yeah.
So let's go through this real quick. This is a restored Cushman Traxter, newer Honda motor, newer tracks, new seat, new top, new windshield with electric wiper, newer fuel cell, hydraulic T-handle controls, runs great, will go anywhere, great in the snow, lots of fun. This is in Happy Valley, Oregon, so it is semi-local to us. It's
Mhm.
$8,500. This at $8,500, it doesn't even seem that bad to me because I've been looking at like UTVs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the same cost as a new car. They're
yes.
$23,000, $25,000. So at $8,500, and this thing is on tracks. Are these amphibious? Do you know?
I don't know if the Cushmans are. I don't think they are, but I don't know for sure.
So they're not exactly an Argo, but I'll bet you money this has the same tow capacity as the new Ford Maverick.
These though, I mean, the Argos, as cool as they are, their tracks snapped over tires. This is a legit track system. Like it's actual tracks.
I'm gonna be a Debbie Downer here. There's no mention of how fast this thing goes, and I know it's not all about speed, but it just looks slow. It looks so slow.
Aaron, if I may, I know exactly how fast this will go. I actually have a little bit of experience with these. It's 6 miles an hour.
Okay, yes. All right,
Yeah.
so that answers that question. Yeah. I don't know if I could ever own anything that was that slow.
Well, you don't drink, so there's that kind of. I mean, if you unloaded this up, whatever your favorite snow run is, and it's 23 miles, 6 miles an hour is not fast, but you put your foot on that tiller steer, lean back, and there's a cooler right there.
And
you're wearing, a snowmobile suit like some kind of James Bond villain. This is a good time with a couple buddies.
And by the way, that's 6 miles an hour as the crow flies. Like you're gonna have to get into the 16-inch or so trees before this thing starts needing to go around them.
Yeah. And I mean, just think, you're drinking in this, you're 3 deep with a couple dudes. There's a lot of homo jokes going around. You're going past trucks that are stuck. You're throwing beer cans and talking crap.
The
and you
dude
get
that's
out.
sitting in the center of the seats doing a little cross country
there's,
skiing.
How it is.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of joking going on. Like, this is a good time waiting to be had. Is it a $8,500 good time? Depends on who's sitting in the center, I guess.
So I haven't looked at many tracked vehicles, but we've got a local friend who I still need to get on our podcast who buys and sells tracked vehicles and uses them legitly. And I feel like for this or a tiny bit more, you could get something. Yeah.
Legitly, he's a millennial. It's fine.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm sorry.
I went all the way to 8th grade, so I could be wrong.
I apologize for interrupting again, Aaron. I keep interrupting you, but just the most underrated joke of the night is going to be: is it $8,500 worth of fun? It depends on who's sitting in the center. That was gold. That was solid.
I was
gold.
surprised there was no laugh, so I'm glad that you came back around.
I think I nodded my head for that, but I wasn't sure if we've just gone too far in this podcast or not. So, yeah.
Sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
Well, I just think that you can buy something that's far superior that will probably go twice as fast and have a lot more cargo capacity for more people. Maybe you could bring girls on your trip, not just 2 guys. And
Boom. Oh my God. I just realized something amazing. The dude's name is Timothy Love Sr.
I rest my case.
yes. So, is there like a clause that he gets to be the middleman?
Well,
Whoever this
clearly,
gets
you and a
sold
buddy
to.
are going to take him out for a test run. You can't just run this around the house.
Yeah.
Oh man. You know what? Whether or not it's a deal, that's not what we're discussing here because this
No.
isn't the deal, dude. This is just overland AF. Am I wrong?
Hey, I'm sorry. Is that a cigarette lighter? Like the old school push down one in the dash?
Are you kidding me right now? This thing is ready to go. Aaron, I don't even care what you
I
have to say anymore. This thing is ready to go.
Kidding me? I could be on my tracks 3 deep, push down on that light a scar and throw the cigarette lighter into somebody's vehicle and watch it explode. Clearly, I'm going to get hurt, injured at 6 miles an hour. I'm not going to put enough distance in between me and a first gen Toyota that's exploding on the trail. But still, that sold it for me. This thing's awesome.
100%. Overland is fun. There you go. That's our Olaf of the week.
I would love if somebody bought that and made a B grade Bond villain movie and use that in the movie.
To like just chase him at 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's cross country skiing or something.
Yeah. He's in snowshoes.
There you go, snowshoes. Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
literally
just
going
slowly
half a mile an hour faster than he is.
he's slowly overtaking him.
Like
Yeah.
that scene in Austin Powers where they're driving the steamroller and the guy's like, stop.
The guy Bond stops and turns and runs off the trail and it has to like stop slowly, do a 90-degree
Yep.
turn that takes 2.5 minutes. Yeah.
And listen, fellas, I really don't think you trust in my fabricated suicide, and I cry, angels cry, when welders deserve to die. I think it's time to get into this thing because this is one that I found, and I am super duper excited about it because it's literally fun for the whole family. Aaron, did you see this thing, man?
I didn't, but I was actually waiting for the intro music.
We don't have it yet. I'm still working on making it
Oh.
not copyrighted.
All right.
I cry where welders deserve to. Yeah.
Coy, would
So
you go ahead?
I purposely didn't click your dealer doob or Fab Sui links because I wanted to be surprised. So I'm surprised.
Boom. That's why this guy gets it.
And-
Coy, go ahead and line us up here.
I like how this guy lined it out on his ad. It is a homemade T-Rex 400 Bergman motor, liquid cool, fuel injection, can be a cool project moving. $300. Honda Odyssey Bugman 400 scooter.
Liquid cool.
Yeah. Homemade T-Rex project.
Can be a cool
Everything
project
there
moving.
to finish, plus some extra goodies. A bit of work to finish it, and that's why I'm selling it. Cheap, plus I'm moving and can't take it with me. Needs switches for the electrical and throttle and brake cables.
We don't need those.
Yeah, brakes need hooked up, needs gas tank and a radiator installed. So
Everyone's
basically
always
this
moving.
just needs gas, gas, brakes, gas tank. It needs everything but tires and a motor. I mean,
Yeah.
The dude is serious about selling it though, because you'll notice it started at $800
he's at 300.
and we're now at $300.
Now go through the pictures a little bit here.
The reason why I say this is fun for the whole family is because clearly it has a child seat right up top, sitting on top of the motor pod. So it's actually above the roll cage.
Yeah. So
this is actually a reprieve from our normal Fab Sui because it does have a roll cage
well, for the driver.
for the driver.
So what I like about this, have you ever seen the like Navy SEAL dune buggies
Mhm.
with the gunner up top?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, these are the gravy seals. Yeah. So Meal Team 6.
Yes.
Nice.
What I like
job.
about this is you can sit a guy up there and you can go patrol in your homemade T-Rex. You could mount something and
You sure could.
play homemade.
Um, where does your feet go when you're sitting up there? Like over the shoulders of the people that
Yeah.
do
So
you
your
use your
buddies,
legs as a shoulder harness for them to keep them in?
Well, when you're
yeah.
going crazy, he reaches up and grabs your ankles to hold you into the seat, you know?
hmm
I'm not
Yeah.
sure exactly what's going on there. Uh,
Why would you put a seat up there? It has to be for a child, yes?
wait, where's this for sale at? California?
Clovis, California. Yeah.
Okay, if it was
Clovis.
Florida, then I was gonna go, yeah, it's for a child, obviously, but California, no. Can't be in California. No. I don't know. That can't be.
That seat looks like it's the same size seat dimensional wise as what's inside of the roll cage area. So
Yeah.
I think a full size human, not a plus size, but a full size human could fit in that.
Just hear me out here though. Like you're the kind of guy that makes this Honda Odyssey homemade T-Rex air quotes. Maybe he planned on like taking a doll, putting a child's Moto X helmet and just strapping it in there, you know? That would be a good time. You're just out on the OHV. This little baby's just getting beat up back there and just, you know.
Hi, I'm Coy Sinclair, and this is Jackass. Down, 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 down.
I want to point out, what are three-wheelers most known for?
Yeah, no. You're gonna
Paralyzing their riders.
Tipping over.
And paralyzing their riders. I mean,
After that's the second part. That's part B.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
yeah, well, technically it does flip over before you get paralyzed, I guess.
And I'd like to point out, this
Yeah.
is not a Honda Odyssey front end. This is clearly the Yerf Dog logo right here.
Yes, no, that's not a Honda Odyssey.
I had a Yerf Dog when I was young. You remember that, Coy,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
We ran over a lot of trees with that. I
So-
actually found out that my neighbor was trying to grow Christmas trees that I had then run over with my Yerf Dog. I had no idea at the time.
To be fair, though, the brakes on this thing, since
Yeah.
they're actually motorcycle brakes in the rear, are far superior to any Yerf Dog.
That is true.
Because those are only the ones we ran back in the day. By we, I mean my friends had, and then I drove.
Yeah.
They only had brakes in the rear, which is not the best thing for a four-tired vehicle. And they were like a band around a barrel. Like then they broke if you stomp the brakes very hard.
Yeah.
Which that's what you want in brakes, is to brake when you're really pushing hard on to pedal.
Yeah.
For the actual piece that's braking the vehicle to snap and then just free, you have nothing.
Well, hence the name. Brakes. It's breaking. It's broken.
What do you think? Would you die in this, Aaron?
I would volunteer to be on the inside. I would drive it. Absolutely, I would drive it.
I'm not going to pretend that I wouldn't ride on that top seat in the right scenario.
You would jump in that jump seat, huh?
Boy, I don't know if I have any friends I would trust at all that I would put my life in their hands.
Right scenario, like I said, just imagine. I can't remember what they call it out here. We have a paintball game, super game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are 1,000 people there. There are roads. They've had like army trucks and stuff go on the roads, and you could stand in the back of the army truck and shoot from. If I had one of these and we took it to super game and I sat in that seat with a paintball gun and we just drove the ring, I'm not driving. I'm sitting in there and I'm full Navy SEAL status gunning from that with a actually mounted paintball gun.
Coy, you bring up a good point. This is in California, so maybe he just has not been yet able to mount the gunner position.
Oh, because he has to go to Nevada to buy it.
Exactly.
He is moving.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
He thought he was taking this with him to Texas to hunt hogs at night, but can't swing it anymore.
Well, this isn't the best Fab Suey. I love it. I do want to throw an honorable mention out to listener Roy. He sent me a sweet.
Is that a Fab Suey to you? That seemed a little deal doobish to me, but
that looked like that somebody trapped they trapped someone in a public restroom and told them they had to build a vehicle. What do you mean? Deal dude. It straight up looks like a game.
I hope you're pulling it up right now. I hope
we
so.
have
I
to
need
now.
to see this.
I apologize.
Oh yes,
back me up.
Woo!
This straight up was like you got to pick out 3 things from a junkyard to build a hot rod, and he got a camper and a Volkswagen Bug, and he made it happen.
All right, so real quick before we get too into this, I know you have thoughts, Aaron, but I just want to quickly run through this. It says 2016 custom, which is my favorite flavor of custom, is custom. It's like chocolate chip. It's it's making a good thing better. Seller's description OBO, and then in parentheses it says or better offer, so they're not taking anything lower.
Or better
Custom-
offer.
Custom built 2016 has title very cool project vehicle $5,000. Take it away, Aaron.
I want to see somebody stand next to it because I'm looking at the garden hose on the ground, and if that's a regular garden hose, this is a very, very tiny car.
It's a Volkswagen Bug frame. I'm near
Mhm.
pan, I guess, not frame, but
I did message the person who listed this and she never said a word to me. So either it's fake or they just don't even care about trying to get rid of it.
seriously though, go with me. It looks like it was made out of a commercial bathroom parts.
Yeah.
When you were mentioning that they had to build it from a wrecking yard, I was thinking that the wrecking yard was only an RV wrecking yard. They only sold trailers and motorhomes there.
Maybe it's not a Volkswagen Bug body, it's a Volkswagen bus body, old school. Yeah, and they did a junkyard wars at a RV wrecking yard.
I do like the towel holder, little towel rack on the side here.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's a towel holder that's supposed to be some kind of. The doors and windows are clearly RV stuff.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Like slider windows.
Yeah, like that's straight up off the side of a camper, not an RV, a camper. The windows are on the back part, appear to be portholes from a boat, possibly airplane windows. I mean, they're double. This is so horrible. I can't. The problem with this one, and nothing's built with a curve. It's all angles, trapezoids, paragons, all that geometry stuff.
Paragons.
Yeah. So I love this. It's too hard to explain though because it's such hot trash.
Well, it does have Munsters vibes to me.
It does. Yes, it does have some Munsters vibe. I wonder two things. So you talk about it being a Volkswagen. The exhaust is coming out the front. I feel like it's got a motorcycle engine.
No.
Is that real exhaust?
If we zoom in on the front end here, it's a Volkswagen sprung front. There is nothing in the front. There's no motor or anything.
Okay. Not some little inline something underneath that sand ladder.
Nope, negatory.
Okay.
I mean, this thing straight up looks like a villain from Brave Little Toaster.
And with how
I'll have that toaster movie.
With how narrow it is, it feels like there's only room for one seat in it as well.
Yeah, it's like 1.5 people in there.
Thank God.
By the way, I did get that little my little Brave Little Toaster reference, but that movie scarred me so deeply that it's blocked from my memory.
That's really a children's horror movie. I'm sorry.
It definitely is. Yeah.
We can't get into that. I could talk about that for another hour. We're running long.
Well, because all of the movies from our childhood were horror movies.
Most of them, yeah.
Let's not talk about The Secret of NIMH.
Man. Oh,
God. I'd love to see this in person. I really would. I wish North Carolina wasn't so far away.
I'm really glad with the distance between me and North Carolina. Actually, I looked at the North Carolina.
Yes,
I'm perfectly fine with the miles between me and North Carolina.
Just real quick, show of hands: who thinks that this thing is filled with mold and mildew on the inside?
Just judging by how regular campers work.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point. I looking at it, it feels like, and I know it isn't this way, but it feels like some of these panels should like fold down and turn it into a convertible as well.
Honestly, I thought it almost looks like the top pops up like a Volkswagen pop top a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe they did. I also feel like that somebody could drive up into this and then just burst through the side of it and scream like, snap it to a Slim Jim or something. I'm not sure, but like it looks like you could just manhandle your way through the side of the car.
I think one of my favorite parts of this, by the way, is that every single wheel has those hubcaps where it makes it look like there's a disc brake behind a 5-spoke wheel.
So clean. That they just got done washing it. I love people that take pictures of their cars right after they wash it.
For me, this is one of those things where it's like, answer your ad so I can bully you.
that previous photo in the rear showed 2 different license plate frames. So I guess if you've got a motorcycle license plate, you can put it in the small one, or a regular license plate, you can put it in the big one.
We gotta move on, boys. I was supposed to just honorable mention this. This is what we want. Send us this stuff. Sometimes we've
Yes.
already kind of locked in something. This made me this made my pants get tight, and I also threw up in my mouth, which is a weird combination of physical
Wow.
responses.
His
Yeah.
pants got tight because he was excited to talk shit
No,
about
it was a huge load that just blew out my pants when I saw it. I was like, yes, this is amazing. You know,
Coy, I think you're ready to have another one of those with our dealer Doob. Let's go ahead and have a look at this thing, man. Aaron, you ready?
Yes.
Smoking deal or smoking Adobe. So I have to admit, this is one that I found and brought to the table, and let's just
not your
get
best
into it.
work, not your finest hour, Andy.
No,
No.
I thought it was pretty good.
Wow.
What? It's supposed to be borderline, like we could go either way.
This
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
So first of all, I'm going to try and explain this to people on audio. This is an S10 or a Bronco 2. It's a Blazer, yeah.
Blazer Sport. It's a 1989 Chevy Blazer Sport utility, 2-door.
So 89, so first gen one. So I'm assuming this hopefully has a 4.3. Yeah, 4.3 V6. So almost, 3/4 of a 350. And then they did like a 1950s front end.
It says 1940 Ford.
Yes.
1940 Ford front end, and then kind of part of the rear fender. But from the windshield forward, they did a retro front end. From the windshield back, for the sake of argument, basically nothing to make that blend in.
No, the rear arches are some kind of big bulbous. It looks like someone was blowing a big gum bubble, and then the bubble popped, and they put an undersized
And that's
wheel
a
and tire on
Bondoed
it.
kiddie pool.
Mhm.
I mean, something. This is hideous on every level. I can't even find a good. The paint looks decent. I'll give it that.
So just real quick, I want to
Bad
read
color, but good
I want to
paint.
read the ad because we have to for Smoking Dealer, Smoking a Doob. Unique professional build, 1989 Blazer with a 1940 Ford front clip, perfect interior, custom flame job, alloy wheels, custom bumper, extended rear fenders, 4x4. Okay, wouldn't have guessed that. 4.3 liter V6. It was a fundraiser for the American Legion Post 15. Proceeds go towards youth programs for local high school students. If I was a local high school student, I would be very disappointed, wildly disappointed.
And asking price. Let's
Oh, sorry. Asking price is $15,000, 15000, not 1,500. 15,000.
Couldn't I find an actual 1940s Ford for 15,000?
Not
Yeah.
with four-wheel drive and a Chevy drivetrain.
Let's look over at the North Carolina marketplace.
Definitely with a Chevy drive chain. Yes, 4-wheel drive. I never say never. Man, this is so hideous. It was for a fundraiser. I'm going to do the game I always do with this. How much can we get a 1989 Chevy Blazer for?
$1,000, $1,500.
$1,000.
With immaculate interior, and it's 4-wheel drive with a 4.3. Can we go 1,500? I
We
feel
can
like
go 15.
1,500.
Yeah.
Like it's a nice one.
Sure.
How much can I get the front end of a 1940s? Whatever the heck this it was.
Well, I have an entire body shell
Okay.
parked outside of my house. It was $500.
Okay. So I'm into it 2,000 now. Now Bondo work and paint. $5,000?
Okay, Bondo work and paint by a professional or Bondo work and paint that's like this?
Yeah, a professional, but not as professional shop. He came to my house on weekends and did it for under the table.
$3,000.
Okay. So I'm into this now. $4,300, right? That somewhere in there.
No, but continue.
And there's no mods.
Let's
It's
call
not
it 6,000.
souped up.
Let's call
just
it
say
6,000.
let's run it 1,500, 3,000 plus 500.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're at $5,000. We'll call it 6,000 for consumables. And there's a considerable amount of Bondo.
Yeah.
Paint was a couple $100 just for that. We probably used a gallon. We did do flames, so we had to get something pinstripe in there and stuff. So let's still $1,000 there. So we're into it 7.
And I would just like to point out real quick, it says immaculate interior, and there are no photos of the interior.
Of course.
Why, even if it's immaculate, it's an 89 Blazer. What, we don't need photos. Can't we just use a stock Google image?
Well, yeah,
maybe they resto modded the interior. Maybe they put some autometer gauges in.
Oh yeah, maybe it's shag carpet.
Does that increase the value? I don't know.
No, it decreases it.
This is horrible. I'm going to go right now. This is a dupe. I'm duping this super hard. This is hideous. I would love to see someone lift this, throw 38s under it, and wheel it.
Paint it flat black first.
I might even go like a Hitler, old German evil guy thing going on, like an Indiana Jones villain.
I would love someone to get this and spray paint Hambler across the side, like Hambler 500, because it looks like a pig.
I'm getting nauseous looking at it, and I'm not actually joking. Like, I'm sickened physically by this car.
So just to throw a little monkey wrench in it, but I am curious what your thoughts are. If this were a 2-wheel drive, if it were slammed, it was LS swapped, and it had 600 horse, would that change anything for you?
No, because I would rather it be just a Blazer. It's still disgusting. Like, why wouldn't you just leave it the stock Typhoon stuff going on,
Aaron?
Someone absolutely wasted their money building this. It's just awful.
The only thing I can hope is this was for a fundraiser, maybe like a high school shop somewhere. Like, they're like, yeah.
Okay,
we're going to teach you some auto body stuff, some welding, some mechanical, and we did it,
Here's the shop teacher when it was done. All right, well, everybody, you've finished the car, and I want you all to know that I'm very could you pass me?
Let's do a little role play. You be the shop teacher, and I'll be the principal.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, I heard your guys' project there in the shop, that raffle vehicle, doing pretty good this year. That's one of our biggest club money raisers every year.
Oh yeah.
Last year, those guys did the El Camino.
Yeah.
Man, that class was, you had some really some real talent in there. That thing sold for $27,000. That really helped the clubs out.
Well,
the chess club couldn't believe it.
I mean, I was very excited to do it. I know I gave you a little bit of pushback about having the special needs students in this class, but I have to say I'm very sorry. Could you just pass me that water?
Yeah.
I'm very.
I'm sorry.
I'm very.
Are you?
No.
Did you swallow a fly?
I'm very proud of what the kids were able to accomplish this year.
When do I get to take a look at this?
Is
it finished?
I don't think that's a good idea.
Is it finished?
I don't think that's a good idea. Do you have any sunglasses around?
I'm sorry, Mr. Imhoff. Have you finished it? It's supposed to be ready for the raffle. If you haven't finished it, I won't be angry. I'll be disappointed.
Technically, yes, it is finished.
Okay, I would like to look at it. Let's look at it.
You keep saying that word. I don't think you mean
Mr. Imhoff. I want you to understand your students worked very hard on this raffle vehicle. This was a selfless move. Some of the finest auto body mechanical talent comes out of our high school, and I'll be damned if, as the principal of this school, I will not see it and walk out of the shop with it to start selling the first raffle ticket.
Yeah, no,
I have a golden raffle ticket to sell the first one.
Well, listen, we're going to go and take a look at it. I want to remind you that the garbage can is right next to the door. It's on the left-hand side as soon as you enter. Let's okay. All right. You brought this on yourself. Do you want to see it?
Yes. Every year I'm involved with this. This is one of our biggest fundraising activities. Of course, I would like to see it.
I'm going to grab the student rep real quick. Jeremy. Hey, the principal wants to see the car. Are you ready to show him the car?
How low?
I'm ready to show him the car. Oh, okay. Well, Principal Sinclair, are you sure you want to see this car?
You keep asking me that question. Yes, the car's finished. I'd like to see it.
I made a poopy. No, I know, Jeremy. Yeah. All right. Once again, the trash can is over here, Jeremy. All right. Well, let's show him. Let's go ahead and pull the screen up, guys. All right, Principal Sinclair. There it is.
So, I mean, I'm standing in front of it here. This looks like a decent hot rod. Like, this is a nice 40s Ford. What's going on? Sorry, I think you got some of that on me. Wow. Sorry, this is a 1989 Blazer.
I think I just asphyxiated. Yeah. Yep.
So, would you like to come with me to let the chess, math, debate, and horseshoe club know that they won't have any funds for next year?
Just whatever gets me away from here.
Okay.
And whatever gets me away from here. Just
Okay.
open the door. Just open the door.
Also, I want you to know we're cutting shop.
Just open I don't care. Just open the door. Just open the door.
Yeah, so shop will have their funds cut this year. And I
open
say
the door.
this every year,
door.
but this is the dumbest class of students.
Jeremy, just wheel it out.
Dumber.
Just wheel it out. Just wheel it out.
Insane.
I feel like this could have also played out where the shop teacher built this purposely to prove that they shouldn't have cut the shop's funds.
I would say
this is
purposely built.
This is
it
what we get.
Prove that he had tenure and was unfireable. Like, I do what I want.
I don't think tenure would even matter in this case. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
So maybe this wasn't built by a high school shop.
Well, it said it was for the Legion.
Yeah, fundraiser for the American Legion Post 15. Proceeds go towards youth programs for local high school students.
Yeah, I don't know who built it, but I'd like to think small dumb children built it because that's the only people that I can relieve and give half a pass to.
All right, listen, we've beaten this very ugly horse to death.
We all know this is dupe for everybody.
100% dupe, 100%
Yep,
dupe at
yep.
$15,000. Now, here gets to be the fun part. Aaron, just a quick reminder, my friend, we want to know not only how much you would pay to park this beautiful creation in your driveway, but we also want to know what you think it will actually go to a person, regardless of your own personal feelings about it.
Man. If I could pick this up for $2,000 and throw some bigger tires underneath it for another $2,000 and go wheel it and let people laugh at me, I probably would spray paint it flat black so it would hide some of the ugliness. I would do $2,000. What I think it'll sell because it's for a charity.
No, it's not for charity now. It was. Now this guy bought it for the charity, I'm assuming.
I feel like that they are selling it and the proceeds are going towards youth programs for high school students. So
Yeah.
I feel like they're selling it for a charity. So I'm going to guess that it's going to sell for $8,500.
Just because someone, like, they're a rich farmer and their student's a high schooler, and
they're going to
they're
take pity
tired.
on it.
Yeah,
They'll
they're
immediately
tired of
go
buying
and crush
castor
it
oil.
or insure it for the most amount and accidentally crash it into a ditch or something.
Yeah. It's a natural epicatin.
So my number is, I mean, it's low. For me, this is This is gamblerish.
Oh, wait. We didn't hear. So you would actually spend $2,000 on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I got to point out, even the color they painted it
Yeah.
is awful.
Yeah.
It's like champagne with ghost flakes.
Yes.
Like it's
yes.
it is like they did it bad on purpose.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's kind of a joke and they're going to raffle it as a joke to try. Is there but they can't be raffling it since they're advertising. I don't know what's going on. It confuses and violently angers me, honestly. Like there was a lot of actual work that went into this to make this as horrible as it is.
Yeah.
Like there was man hours that went into this.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. I'm
so pissed. It's so funny.
I actually do like Aaron's number as 8,500.
Yeah.
I had in my mind 9. Somebody's basically just giving this money away. They'll get the car, they'll drive it around and laugh, and then it'll just get covered in leaves beside their mansion, and eventually just go to one of those where you give away a car and a women's shelter lady drives it around or something.
Yeah.
It's definitely for pity. It's definitely pity money.
Which why build the car? Just ask for $8,500. I mean,
yeah.
Honestly, if I was the person buying this, I wouldn't want the car. I'd be like, no, just give $8,500 to the golf club. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the 4-H kids that raise their animals. We buy 4-H hogs every year because the people paying the money for them at the 4-H auction, they're just family and friends that want to help support the kid that raised it, and then they don't need the hog, they don't want it, so they have a buyback program basically that we buy our hogs through.
And
this
then
is
you
the same
immediately
idea.
slaughter their pet. For my personal number, I'm going to probably gamble this. I like the idea of olive drabbing it and putting some German words on there and dressing up as Indiana Jones or something and putting 38s on it and wheeling it. I like the idea of that. That's too much work for this monstrosity, though. I mean, so honestly, $900 my number on this. Like I'm $900. Well, no, I'll go higher. I'm gonna go 1,200. I'll gamble it at 1,200. Any more than that, it just the amount of money I gotta buy 37-inch tires. I'm gonna have to do some axle work. I'm gonna have to put money into this to wheel it to make it a joke to wheel. So I can't go a higher number than 1,200. At 1,200 and lower, I'll just gamble it as is.
Yeah.
I may paint it or build a potato cannon for it or something, but
I could see this in a B-grade Indiana Jones movie too. I'm feeling very producer-ish tonight.
Maybe we take that Cushman Traxxter and this, and we reenact that tank scene where they stab the.
Oh yes,
yeah,
yes,
we do a horrible reenactment. By the way, I scene 27 of the RoboCop remake. Don't Google that. Watch it, by the way.
Why are you bringing that up?
I just want our listeners, I can cover the most ground this way. Don't scene 27 of the RoboCop remake. Do not watch it. Just don't. Anyways, don't Google that. Andy, what's your number?
Well, so I'm just going to point out real quick. Kevin Moore in the comments says this is a 5-ounce dube, and I could not agree more. So you guys are probably right, although this is from Medford, and I have to take
what this is local?
Yeah, this is in Medford, Oregon.
Ooh, wow.
Does that change your number, or are you just more disgusted?
No, Medford's the right town for this to be in. To be fair, doesn't change my number at all. I may see this in a gamble 500 event. Like it became more real. I was thinking Louisiana, Alabama, but Medford, that's. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
All right, this is going to be pretty short and sweet for me. I think the number on this is going to be 6,000. Again, it's a pity buy. Someone out there who owns a farm, like you said, they're going to buy it, and I could totally see this just being a farm smash it up rig. All the kids that helped built it get to go over to this dude's farm where he's got like a mud hole created and some trails and stuff, and they're just going to systematically deconstruct it over the course of 12 hours. My price on this is $900. That's where I'm at. I can't pay 4 digits for this. It has to be less than that. So at $900, the wheels are atrocious. The wheels would go. I would have a buddy of mine help me find some wheels that were um, a little bit more fitting, a little bit smaller, not nearly as ostentatious. And I would paint this thing like a white mixed with pink, so it would be a light pink. And then I would cut a curly tail out of some thin sheet metal and stick that on the back of it. And like I said, this would be my Hambler 500.
Okay.
Those wheels look like classic Krager wheels to me, like hot rodder Kragers.
Yet somehow uglier. Am I right?
I
know what?
think they look like Kragers.
Remember when Dodge 2006 in there, like right when the kind of it's a Hemi came back,
Mhm.
they had the alloy wheels with the hubcap that actually just covered the wheels, like a plastic covering
Mhm.
with a wheel real similar to this.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But that's where I fall. I think that this is going to fetch $6,000, and that's going to be very, very generous. And I think that this thing will hopefully, mercifully rot away under an oak tree until Satan reaches up through the ground himself to drag it back to hell.
Yeah. Good paint, bad color, as I like to say.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen though, like on social media, where someone found this crazy car from the 70s that
Yes.
was super wild, and it's just been rediscovered, and all the fiberglass and Bondo is chipping, and the interior is completely rotten, and someone's like, "We have to restore this." I feel like this would be that car. It's going to sit next to someone's barn and rot out for 40 years, and someone's going to find it and be like, "Oh, this thing, wow, this thing would have been amazing back in 2021. We need to
Aaron,
bring it back to its glory."
Aaron, I could not disagree more. Smoking deal or smoking adobe. All right, boys, we ran long again. This episode is somehow longer than our previous episode, and I think Aaron is to blame. So go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you and everything you're doing, man.
The Off-Road Podcast, we are on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Um, Ben keeps getting banned, so sometimes you will not see our stuff when we try to go live. But you can check our podcast out, like on any of the Stitcher type stuff or Apple Pod Play. I'm not
Mhm.
sure. I'm not into that business. But yeah, we're out there. Yeah, come find us.
I love that, man. You guys have to go and check it out. It is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to when we're not making this one, obviously. Coy Forticus and Masterson can be found at the Horsepower Hour on Instagram and Facebook. Come and join the group, man. Horsepower Hour /group / the Horsepower Hour. We have to stay ahead of the 4x4, or excuse me, the off-road podcast.
And reviews.
I was doing so good.
Reviews.
Oh,
we
hold
have,
up.
We have a review to read, guys.
Yes, I forgot about that.
I don't know who this is. It's Boots and Chew.
Mhm.
Dear Boots and Chew, this is a great, and I repeat, great review. He gave us 5 stars, and it says titled "Good Stuff." Found you guys on the 4x4 podcast. I think he means off-road podcast, but he does say 4x4 podcast, or he's a funny guy. I'm not. Maybe
Yes.
Yeah.
Either way, I like it. And I love your stuff. I listen to your podcast while I'm working on standby generators, and I often laugh out loud. People look at me with a weird look, but I don't care. I already listened to all your episodes. I especially love the Pina Colada remix. That was perfect. You guys should do a new segment about car guy homes with awesome garages. Keep up the good work.
So, fun fact, we're actually working on an episode about that. We want to kind of make it a regular segment. I produce a podcast with a couple of really kick-ass realtors in the area, and they've been pitching this idea to me. So that is going to be coming on an upcoming episode. So look forward to that, Boots and Shoes, and thank you for that review, and thank you guys out there for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend. That really is what keeps this pirate ship afloat. We don't need wind because you are the wind beneath our wings, and we appreciate that. Coy, thank you, my friend, for being here. Aaron, one more time, thank you so much. Go and check out the Off-Road Podcast. Love what those guys are doing. They have a great show, and it really complements our show well. So please do that, and thank you for it. So for Aaron Samuelson and Coy Forticus and Masterson Jr. Senior Esquire, Duke of Earl Grey, this is Andy. We will see you next time.